Well, happy Sunday. I'm getting out. Of course, the temperature is now close to freezing, 30 something. And we have snow. We have no wind, but it's pretty, but I doubt much of it will stick. And you may be able to see some of it drifting by me now, as it's not become a heavy snow. And it feels kind of wet, so I think it'll hit the ground and just disappear. So, what's going on today? Well, today is the Oscars. I doubt that I'll watch it. I mean, I can probably think of something better to do with 2 to 4 hours of my time. And, but who knows? I may sit there and multitask and watch it or listen to it. Everybody is talking about their choices. I haven't seen all the movies, but I have seen a couple. And I like Cruise's outing. I thought that was better than the original, frankly. I mean, there was a story. It worked. He's more mature as an actor. I mean, he's always had special skills. I think of the Fourth of July flick he did about a returning serviceman from Nam who suffered greatly, limbs and so forth. That was a real reach for an actor. And how can you not watch Tar, a movie about a conductor, and not be impressed both with the story and the show? So this is a long way to say that Everything Everywhere just doesn't catch me. And for one thing, there is no story, and the underlying premise, as much of a science fiction fan as I am, doesn't work. And one of the reasons is because it's based on a central fight between Einstein and Heisenberg. You probably know this. Heisenberg's uncertainty principle basically said that at subatomic levels, you couldn't measure both the location and speed of an item, because in order to measure it, of a subatomic item, because in order to measure it, you had to introduce energy, which changed what you were observing. And so he spoke in terms of probabilities and outcomes. Einstein said God doesn't gamble. God doesn't play tricks like that. You know, it's always a direct thing. But out of this debate came this crazy notion that if it was possible to have different outcomes, then maybe it was possible there were different universes coexisting at the same time. Well, I'm not saying you couldn't make that movie. It's bad science. Nobody thinks it means anything. Of course, that could change. Maybe not in my lifetime, and it didn't happen in Einstein's lifetime, and it certainly didn't happen in Heisenberg's uncertain time. So I find the story weak, and I know 20 million is a lot to spend on a movie like Everything Everywhere, but it didn't work for me, although I love Kyo. She's been fabulous for so many years, so I'm torn because, and she may get the Best Actress, who knows. So that's my story on it. Cate Blanchett would be my favorite actress, notwithstanding what I think about Yeo, and it would be harder in terms of the male Best Actor, but Colin Farrell did a great job in A Little Bit of Irish, and Austin Butler and Elvis. So I don't know, there were some acting performances that caught me. Obviously, this is all opinion, and some of it's emotion, and it would be nice, I suppose, on an emotional level, to have such fabulous actors and actresses and Everything Everywhere win. But it's a tough year this year, I think, for those choices. My number 2 story is about banking. The Silicon Valley Bank gone bust, closed the doors, and a lot of people are suffering. And if you happen to have your account there and it's less than $250,000, the FDIC will take care of you. If it's more than that, you're probably not going to see a dime of that. What are the chances for it succeeding? Well, you have to consider that this is a bank in Silicon Valley that has spent its time, energy, and brilliance on startups. And so what you have is a situation in which the venture capital seems to be suffering, And so they're holding accounts that are not working. And we've heard the canaries in the mine, so to speak, to mix metaphors about high tech and other industries. But, you know, Amazon, Facebook, Google have all riffed employees. And so that's a signal that something's going on, and there are explanations for it. I think a bank that has high-risk customers is more likely to have the problems they had. So what's going to happen with the bank? Well, what's going to happen with the bank is that on Monday, tomorrow, they're going to look to see if they have a bank to take over this bank. And they've done this before, FDIC and others. So we'll know by the end of Monday if we've shored up the financial markets against some sort of ongoing tragedy. And I guess the tech segment is going to concern us. And the rest of the people are quite concerned about the Federal Reserve wanting to increase rates to 6%. So you go talk to your advisors or use your own noggin and make your own decisions. But I think what we're going to see as a result of this bank is a lot of people are going to walk away from high-tech stocks and certainly startups. So that's the way it rolls. Not good news. In the category of why don't companies do what they should do, and the answer is to save money and put us at risk. And so the Alabama train overturning and the Ohio train overturning with hazardous waste products are a function of not spending the money to maintain the rail cars. And now we find out that there are loose wheels on some of these trains. Disconcerting, at least. The final thing is to return back to when are we going to make these people accountable? And because we haven't, there are now Republicans who want to give solace and support to those who were convicted for overrunning the Capitol. So they've begun their aggressive march to save them from what would normally be inevitable. That is, that people would recoil from any party or partisans that imagined there was fraud in an election when there wasn't, and that Trump should have been president when he shouldn't have been, in reliance on facts and laws that were untrue, and that they encouraged a riot in Washington, D.C., an invasion and effort to overthrow the government. And now, I think in part, because we haven't forced anybody to account for what they've done, including members of the Hill in particular, because this is where it's coming from. And they intend and will and are trying to support those who've been convicted or those who are in custody for what they did on the low level for the riots and efforts to overtake the government by Trump and company, his evil minion. So that's what I got, and the snow's getting even wetter. Isn't that the way? So nice talking to you, and I expect I'll be out tomorrow, and I'm sure there'll be no snow, but there may be more sunlight. So from my cathedral of trees becoming greener, I look forward to talking to you tomorrow.